The French love a creamy sauce, particularly with eggs. So I'm going to show you quite a luxurious breakfast for the weekend. This is my creamy mushroom fried eggs. Now I'll start with some pancetta. You could also use some speck or even bacon for this. What I want is a little bit of that fat because it's flavour. It's also going to render down, which is great for frying our mushrooms. So into a pan, I have it on a low heat at this stage. If you really want to render that fat, you need it to be low so it just slowly comes up to heat and therefore melts that fat as opposed to make it crispy straight away. So that goes in, we'll just let that cook down while I get onto my mushrooms. I like to use button mushrooms for this, thinly slicing them so we still see the inside of them. I don't want it to be finely chopped. You could also use some Swiss brown mushrooms for this. So last few, and then we'll just pop them back in that bowl and we'll just wait for that fat to render from the pancetta. And in true French style, French shallots, always used in French cooking because they're milder in flavour. So I'm just going to finely chop some French shallots. It's going to give lovely sweetness to the dish. These are quite large, so I'm only going to use half of this and I'll finally chop it. All right, let's have a look at the pancetta. Ah, look at that. See how it's starting to go crispy? It's shrunk a little bit and all of that fat, that's flavour. So in with our mushrooms. And because mushrooms are like sponges, it's going to absorb all of the lovely flavour from the pancetta. I also want to add a knob of butter, so 5 to 10 grams of butter, and we'll just add that to this. This is a rich sauce, but it goes so beautifully with the mushrooms. So to this, I'm going to add those French shallots, and I also like to add a hint of garlic, and I don't add it first. Usually recipes call for frying the onions and the garlic to start with, but because the mushrooms need a bit of time to cook, I don't want to burn the garlic, so now is the perfect time to add it after the mushrooms have gone in. So in with the garlic, a little toss, and we just want to cook that down for a few minutes until we get some colour on those mushrooms. Okay, these mushrooms are looking really good. Whenever you're cooking mushrooms, a lot of the liquid will start to form in the pan and then it will start to reduce with that high heat. And then you're left with these glistening mushies. Fantastic. Okay, brandy. Love brandy mushrooms. So in with some brandy. Just give that a shake. You can flambe it if you like. Bit of drama. But that also cooks off that alcohol. So you're just left with the beautiful aroma of the brandy. Smells good. And now we need to start forming the sauce. So we need some stock, a good splash of stock. I'm just using some chicken stock, and that needs to reduce. So that's going to take about 4 to 5 minutes to reduce, which is perfect because I need to cook these eggs. Now you can serve this with poached eggs if you like, but I like fried eggs because they get a little bit crispy on the outside. So I'm going to be cooking 3 eggs in a pan just with a little olive oil. A little tip when you're frying your eggs, always place a lid on top just at the end. And what that does is ensures the egg white cooks perfectly. Look at that, just great. Turn the heat off there. Back to this sauce. You can see how much it's reduced. That's okay, that's what we want that concentrated flavour. And then we're going to balance it all out with the cream. Now I'm going to be using a cooking cream. When I'm rapidly boiling like this or using alcohol, cooking cream is great because it heats without splitting. It also thickens really fast. So a good splash of the cooking cream goes in. And I've still got that on a high heat, which means that's going to reduce really quickly. And you can already see as it starts to bubble away on the sides, it thickens and becomes quite glossy. So we'll just give that a moment. A few little garnishes to go with this. Hazelnuts. Love the flavour of hazelnuts with cream, pancetta and mushrooms. What I've done is just lightly toasted them and we'll just roughly chop the nuts. You could use walnuts, almonds for this, or you can completely leave them out. What I'm looking for here is some crunch, some texture with those soft eggs and that silky smooth sauce. Okay, I also like a little hint of parsley for some freshness. So just a few sprigs and we can just roughly chop that. Okay, let's get the eggs onto a plate. This is one of those recipes, if you just want 1 egg with it, fantastic, or 3 if you're super hungry like I am. And see how crispy they are on the side? That's what we're after. Some freshly cracked pepper over the top. I have seasoned the eggs. And now to this lovely sauce. What I like to do is carefully spoon it around the eggs, all over the egg whites, and just keeping it away from the egg yolk so we're completely exposing that for presentation. Looking good. Finally, some crunchy hazelnuts over the top and a pop of green from our parsley. If you like some extra pepper. And this dish is not complete without some bread. So you can serve it with some crusty baguette. I have some sourdough and I've just char grilled it. And the way to serve this is, yes, with a knife and fork, but before I get into it with a knife and fork, rip the bread, ooh, and dip it into that gooey yolk. Mix it in with that cream sauce. Have a taste. I really want you to try this dish because it is so delicious. Whether it's for breakfast, lunch or dinner, this combination of fried eggs with that creamy sauce and mushrooms is just the best. Oh, this is why I love French cooking so much. Beautiful.